questioning that this morning. So what I've done, now, if you guys have followed my videos, and if you haven't, please hit that subscribe button. Need to brush my beard out pretty bad right now. A while back, I did videos on how to increase productivity in your shop, how to increase the output. And right here, you can see that this handle is not fit up onto the knife tang at all, and that some of these are fit up a little closer, and it's all a matter of kind of an assembly line process that I'm working on right now, and it is quite effective. Now, behind me, you can see that I have 5 knives that didn't look too different from what was over there just maybe an hour or so ago. And I've since poured the pewter pommels and bolsters, and these are all file steel blades. They cleaned up okay. I only ran them up to a 120. But some nice little belt knives. Of course, here's a Skinner. People seem to like those Skinners. And then kind of it's not a roach belly. It's just kind of a long, narrow recurve, slight recurve there, and should be cool. Now you'll notice that the antler does not look real awesome. This is chalk white elk antler. That might be whitetail. That could be whitetail. And I like using the chalk white antler because, one, it's affordable. A lot of people discard it, and two, I found a way to bring it back to life, if you will. And the way I do that is by sanding, polishing, and staining it. And we'll get to that point. Right now, I'm just going to go ahead and start cleaning these up. I just switched to a worn 120 that I've stripped down to about 1 inch wide. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to slack sand this. And I'm going to say that just by polishing that down, that there's definitely improvement. If I can clean off that camera just a little bit, it's a little dirty. All right, so next I'm going to my Skinner. I just watch this because it can create some some competing grinds, but I'm just removing all the really soft stuff right now. This one's whitetail antler, won't require a whole lot of cleanup. Nice solid piece right there. Really like that. And this produces quite a bit of dust, but I like the end result. Okay, Kindler. I'm going to leave the back part unsanded because I'm actually going to use a Scotch-Brite on it, which I'm getting ready to do. Once more, let me clean this off. All right. So if you guys haven't subscribed yet, appreciate it if you would. What am I polishing and buffing? Right now, Hulk, I am doing I'm doing knife handles. So it's elk and whitetail antler, as well as the pommels and the bolsters are, sorry about that, are poured pewter. So next, now that I've went through my 120 grit, which is just a bare minimal, this is just a worn belt split down to about 1 inch wide. Now I'm going to go to a Scotch-Brite. Now Scotch-Brite is essentially like a Scotch-Brite pad. This is not Scotch-Brite brand, so I should refer to it as surface conditioning. Dennis, how's it going? So I'm going to use, once more, I'm using worn belts because this process loads them up really efficiently. And I've actually got a finished product that I skipped this on the bolster, and I want to go grab that real quick. The idea is those knives are going to end up looking similar to something like this. And on this one, I put it in the case and I realized that this is faceted here. So I must have missed the bolster. So now I'm going back to clean it up. Much better. So I started with something similar to the bottom piece and ended up with that on top. So hey, looks good. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to come in here. You can see how that polishes up a little nicer. All right, let's go to the next one. So I'm only doing 5 of these right now. I've probably got another 90 or so I need to go through. But to get to that point, I really need to finish out some of these pieces. Top slacking. Man, that's looking a lot nicer. It will get better. Now, King Migo, I'm not sure how to say your name there. I do sell these, yes, I do. A lot of times on Facebook. I've got a shop here in Central Illinois. We're actually looking for a viable third-party venue to go through for sales. So now, coming in here, and I've got a little bit of burr on the spine. We'll take that burr off. There we go. Going into flat grinding again. Once more, getting a little more attractive on that. But Dennis, thanks for subscribing. Looking good. And this is whitetail antler. I think. No, maybe not. Actually, maybe I'm not 100%. It does look kind of like elk now. And the ground on it. Now you may notice that I'm handling the blade. This isn't sharpened yet. I'm still cautious. And now we're going to go to the skinner. Now, I don't know how well this is showing up on camera, but I've got some pinks and some oranges in here, just some mineralization and how that that antler starts to break down before it's before I get it and preserve that up. That's a cool piece, and I'm really liking that little skinner. All right, so next, it's time to sharpen. Woo! Lots of dust in the air here. So I'm going to take this 120 and I'm going to cut my bevels with 120, and then I'll do a final sharpening with a 220. If you guys haven't subscribed yet, please do so. I'm going to go ahead and use the wheel. Let me grab some different glasses. Now I'm actually going to put just a little bit of a false edge on top. So there we go. And to me, that little false edge, it makes it pop just a little bit more. Okay, so realistically, the last step, I should probably be doing sharpening and then rust inhibitor. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring everything over here and I'm going to go ahead and mark these. And I got a steel order in about 2 weeks ago, and the cardboard tube has stayed right here. Not intentionally, that just happens to be where it's landed, and it's kind of useful right here. All right. There you have it. Well, now we got to go in the back. I got to get some gloves and a paintbrush, some paper towels, and maybe clean off my glasses. Axe throwing venue. All right. This used to be a commercial kitchen at one point. It was extremely gross. I mean, like if you touched anything, you stuck to it because of all the grease. So I won't say which business that was, but that stuff over there is like an adhesive that we actually had to tear the walls out in a good portion of this. So anyway, that's stuff we do here. A couple gloves. I could have grabbed the good ones for like tattooing, but I don't want to right now. All right. Some paper towels. All right. Fun stuff. So next, I'm going to the stage that, frankly, things start to look good. Let me get my stand set up again. What steel am I using? I am using this is actually upcycled file steel. I've got an assortment over there. We do everything from repurposed steels or upcycled, whatever you want to call it, recycled. Files, springs, things like that. on up to meteorite Damascus. We do canister and so forth. So primarily I use high carbon steels, um, basic high carbon steels for that are cutlery grade. So you know, anything from 1075 up to 52100. Sorry about that. I try not to blow my nose on camera because sometimes that's gross. But so here's what I'm doing. I'm going to be taking some of our knives that look like that and make them look more like that. And the way I'm going to do that is a heavily guarded ancient blacksmithing secret. So I can't show you guys. Thank you for subscribing. We'll catch you. No, I'm not doing that. I'll show you how to do it. It's actually a relatively simple process, but you get amazing results with this. At least I do. I think it's amazing. So keep in mind that these were, for the most part, except for the whitetail antler that I think is whitetail. For the most part, these were chalk white elk antlers. By chalk white, I mean they were sheds or they were recovered after something had died and been nature cleaned, which basically means was left in some nasty conditions. And there's a fair amount of mineralization that occurs during the life cycle of the animal, and that in part is due to the animal's diet. Keith, you need to send me some info on what you charge for your sheaths, because currently I'm outsourcing for sheath work on the majority. I still do some of my own, but so I'm going to take some of this Minwax stain right here. And the reason I settled on Minwax, I like the results. Now a customer a long time ago ended up buying a hunting sword off of me, and I was doing it up frontier style, so early American, and it was in white elk. It was still quite, I mean, it wasn't really chalky, but it was chalk white. And he ended up using a walnut stain, and it turned out pretty cool. And I was like, wow, that's nice. I like the way that looks. Well, fast forward a couple of years, and I said, hey, you know what? This chalk white elk antler is affordable. And I mean, it takes some work to get it to the point that I like to have it, but it does greatly absorb and it absorbs the stain, and it looks really nice when it's done. And by really nice, I mean nice like that. You see, I got some stain on the blade. That's going to come off. Let's do that Skinner next. Hunting sword. So once upon a time, Keith, back in the day when you had a single shot musket or maybe a crossbow or whatever, you had one shot. And that wasn't always real effective. So people carry a hunting sword, and it's often referred to as a hunting sword or a hanger or a couteau, sometimes a cutlass, much like the pirate weapon. And that was used to deliver a killing blow, and it was also used for defense on the road because back in the day, in most cases, it was nobles who were hunting. So you see your hunting party out, well, that person's got money, you know. Um, so they might have been a target for robbery or assassination, or I mean, they didn't have TikTok back then, at least as far as I know. So they had to find other things to occupy their time, and raiding and pilfering and all that was a common pastime for some people. God, it probably still is today if you think about it. Okay, here we go. And the reason I like to do the polishing before is because if I get a stain result that I'm really happy with, I don't want to obscure that by having to go in and polish it down some more. But you do get a nice. God, I am surprised. I've been doing this for quite a while, people, and it never fails to surprise me the beauty that you can find in a piece. And sometimes it's just a matter of going a little bit further. These will sell a lot easier having the having this stain and being polished up some versus being in the white like this. There's a nice contrast, really nice contrast that I favor. I really do. So, just going to keep it going. Get it cleaned up. Now this one, I'm not expecting a whole lot out of just because it would, yeah, okay, never mind. I retract my comment. That one has a little more browns and grays in it. Looking pretty good. Now this one might be whitetail antler. Get another paper towel or two ready. I wish I had, yeah, I'm pretty sure this is whitetail. I'm really wishing I had more sheaths in stock because I could get these out on market a little bit quicker. Um, Knives sell better with the sheath, they do. Now, I don't always make my sheaths by any means. I beat on hot metal. I make knives. I'm not a leather worker. I can do enough to get me by, much like carpentry, anything like that. But I cannot say by any means that I am a skilled woodworker or leather worker. All right, now that I'm going to let set for just a moment. Oh, wow, my back's killing me. Okay. Okay, gotcha, Keith. Say, Keith, if you get to a point where you are you're looking at making sheets and selling them and so forth, get a hold of me. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram. Go watch Forged in Fire. I'm on season 4, episode 2, Deerhorn Knives. You can also find me on Master of Arms on Discovery Channel. I was on season 1, episode 1, Flintlock Axe Pistol. Got to contribute some knowledge to a book and some other cool things like that. That turned out pretty nice. Almost certain that's whitetail antler. This one, quite certain, it's elk. This one, I'm hoping, because I left some of that outer bark a little bit heavier towards the pommel end, and I'm hoping that gives me a nice, desirable contrast with the stain. Now, I've had some people comment. They're like, "Well, that's cheating because that's not what it naturally looked." It may have looked better than this when it was at its prime, but I wouldn't call it cheating because it's given new life to something that's would otherwise maybe not be valued as high. So price point on these, they're going to start, it's going to vary. I mean, anywhere from 175 to 250. Very cool, Keith. Etsy, I actually used to sell on Etsy. I've sold on Gunbroker. I've even sold on eBay. And each one has its own advantages and its downfalls as well. So let me throw this way real quick. So I'm going to let that set for just a moment. And I'm going to let that stuff cure, kind of dry and everything. But Keith, I could use some good sheets. I'll tell you what, man. And I'll clean the blades up. I'll get them sharpened, and then they're going in my case for sale. I really like the way the stain popped on those two. So there you have it, guys. If you haven't subscribed yet, I'd ask you to please do so. And check out some of my other videos. It's a lot of fun making knives. It's a lot of fun being creative. And around here, we encourage people to be creative and to express oneself. So with that being said, I'm going to hop off here. I'll catch you guys a bit later.